Good evening and welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Trustees. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Riley Booker, 4th District.
Noah Smith, 3rd District.
And I am Ann Duff, Member at Large. And to my far left is Angela Filler, Clerk of the Board. And our Superintendent is next to her, Dr. Mark Daniel. And we will begin this evening with our profile of an ideal Fort Wayne Community Schools graduate workshop overview. On Wednesday, the 20th, Fort Wayne Community Schools welcomed nearly 200 community leaders and educators to our ideal graduate workshop. By the end of the day, we were well on our way to developing a profile of what traits, skills, and knowledge our graduates need to be successful future employees in our community. We want to thank everyone who attended and participated in this wonderful event by sharing a highlight video of the day.
Well, what does that mean for Fort Wayne? So that's what we're asking our community. And then we will hone that into a program that we taught from pre-K to 12th grade. So that's the ideal graduate. So where do we go from here? Today is just the beginning. We see this as a constant process, i.e. it should never really sunset. It should be always reviewed because we know things change. But I can say that as we launch from here, and we do have a company that's leading this for us, a consultant group called Ford NGL, and Ford is part of the Ford Motor Company, and they've done it in some other cities across our country. And they are taking this and they will help steer us, but it has to be Fort Wayne Community Schools. It has to be Greater Fort Wayne. It cannot just be, hey, this is something someone's passed to us. We have to own it. And I think that's probably the most important piece. If we can truly embed this in what we're doing every day in our classrooms, and I think one of the previous speakers said it best, when a kindergartner can recite what this is, then we've really started to embed it. And then by the time they're a high school senior, it should be very natural. So we have really, you know, we look at we call it the multi-tiered systems of support, so MTSS. There are really two sides to that. It's about academics, but it's also about well-being, social well-being of our students. So we see this as tying both of those sides of the triangle to create even stronger base. And if we can truly do this well, we will see it embedded in what we're doing every day in our buildings. And regardless of whether you're at Kroninger or you're at Abbott or you're at Northside or Wayne, it doesn't matter. It should be consistent across the district. That consistency is important, and that continuity as it reaches all of our students and really all of our families. Having not experienced this before, but just been given instructions, there are various teams. There are elementary teams, middle school teams, and high school teams. Each team will come to consensus on, I believe, 4 different attributes. Then they will gather all that data and they will process it for us. We'll then reconvene and have subgroups or even additional focus groups to communicate what is this, what have we generated here, does that land, is it something that, you know, as I speak with government leaders, as I speak with business leaders and education leaders, and again, we have everyone represented here today. So we have both, I didn't mention this, we also have post-secondary partners here as well. So it is truly a community phenomenon. And again, this is the beginning.
All right, thank you. That was a great recap. It was a really great event to see, especially the different community and business partners who were really engaged in what Dr. Daniel mentioned in there, the 4 attributes and things like that, because they are the ones who will get our students next. So it's important that they help us create that vision, that ideal student. So thank you to all those people who participated, the community members, business people, higher ed people. I think it was a wonderful day. Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda, which includes the approval of our minutes from March 28th, vouchers and payroll, and our personnel report. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
So motion.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Noah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Dr. Daniel, did you have anything?
I do. We have in our, now that you've approved, we have in our audience this evening our new Executive Director of Human Resources. She'll begin May 23rd. Her name is Rose Costello. So Rose, welcome. Rose is currently the Associate Vice President of Human Resources at Ball State University, a position she has held since 2018. More than 15 years of human resource experiences, both at Indiana University, Purdue, Fort Wayne, as well as Ivy Tech Community College, and I know she's also had some other positions as well, and some both for-profit as well as nonprofit. So very excited about having Rose join our team. She'll join us at the cabinet level. And as you know, we're working through HR. HR is a new, I'll say it's a new world. There are shortages across our country. We're not immune to those shortages. We have to think very differently. I want to say beyond out of the box, certainly not inside the box. We almost need to just blow up the box and begin. But I think Rose is going to bring a very creativeness to us, as well as she's pure HR. So that will be unique to us. In Fort Wayne Community Schools, and having had this experience in other districts, I can tell you when we shifted to truly an HR person, it just changed the whole culture of our HR department. And I'm not saying that, so I always will say this, as Deming would say, it's about continuous improvement, and I think we're primed for improvement in that area. And quite frankly, the market's changed. And so we just have to think very differently. So again, we're welcome Rose. Can't wait to bring you on board and have you meet with us at the cabinet level. And today we have approximately 400 openings. So if there are people out there interested in joining Fort Wayne Community Schools team, we have openings in both our certified staff as well as our classified staff. And probably some of our major challenges rest in our classified staff area. So looking for, again, new ways to think, maybe partnering with other organizations where we can share employees, some that may be part-time that can, if they share, maybe they become a full-time phenomenon, and who knows what we can do with that partnership between multiple organizations. But again, May 23rd, I can't wait to that day.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and thank you for coming this evening.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
Welcome back.
Okay, we have no old business, so we'll move on to our new business. Our first recommendation is Microsoft EES license agreement. It is recommended that the board approve the purchase of a Microsoft Enrollment Education Solutions, EES, license agreement from Bell Technologies of Indianapolis for $181,829.11. The annual purchase provides Microsoft Windows and Office licenses for all district-owned devices. The EES license also includes many of the core data center products such as server operating systems and desktop management tools. This license also allows students and most staff to download Microsoft Office on up to 5 personal devices at no cost. Since pricing is set by Microsoft and not the reseller, Indiana State Code allows for the purchase of software programs without a bid. Funding will come from the Operations Fund, and Kevin Grubel, Manager of Technology, will be available to answer any questions. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Noah. And do you have any questions for Kevin?
So this is for everyone in the district, every device that we have? This is,
So this software provides all the needed software to run our devices here on shop in the data center. We've had some licenses put out into the schools as well to alleviate some bandwidth concerns. So yeah, it includes the Windows 10 operating system, the Office software, and then a lot of the behind the scenes application stuff.
how much would you say we use Microsoft versus Google? And is there a distinct difference?
It's broken up into different perspectives. So if you're talking about the administration side of Formal Community Schools, we're going to be mostly Microsoft Office and MS 365. If you're looking at the classroom, we are going to be more towards the Google side because of the integrations into the LMS and the SIS and things like that.
Does that create any conflicts or any problems?
It's got a few challenges. We got some good staff that can overcome that, but it's got some challenges.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Is there, oh, already asked for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will move on to the American Rescue Plan for Homeless Children and Youth Fund, Round 1 or 2?
Or 11.
Or 11. Something like that. Steve?
It's recommended we approve the acceptance of the American Rescue Plan Homeless Children and Youth Funds from the Indiana Department of Education in the amount of $380,101. The money addresses the needs of homeless children and youth highlighted by the impact of COVID-19 to supplement existing funds, interventions, and supports. The funds will provide critical wraparound services to students outside of school hours through contracted community partners who will address obstacles currently impeding learning and intensify challenges for homeless students. Services will include, but not limited to, transportation to and from doctor's appointments, mental health services, food banks, shelters, and other community supports that strengthen student and parent engagement in the learning process. And we have a couple of folks here to answer questions, Tim Captain and Christian Perez-Mora.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
I move approval.
Thank
Second.
you, Holly. Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions?
I have a couple. So how has our population of homeless students changed since the pandemic? Just curious.
It has increased. And so our numbers 2 years ago when we closed for the pandemic, since we closed and we had to shut down, we had a smaller number because of a shutdown, and we were about a little over 700 students. As of last year, we ended the year with a little over 900 students. Currently, I have a total of 1,026 students right now. So, and that's as of today. So that is more than what we usually end the year with. So along with the increase in numbers, the increase in their needs and the assistance that they require has also increased as well.
So if I'm a parent or guardian or caretaker for one of our students, how would I find out about these services?
So as far as the McKinney Mental Services or?
Well, the services it refers to here, like transportation to and from doctor's appointments, mental health services, food banks, et cetera.
This will actually be an internal process, so it would focus on all the students that are already identified in McKinney-Mento, and so we plan on using the funds, part of those funds, to do a contracted service, to get a case manager to help with the wraparound services, to kind of fill in the gaps the services that I can't provide between 9 and 5. A lot of our students have needs to go to doctor's appointments, mental health appointments. I provide hundreds of food vouchers monthly. And we noticed that there was a gap in those referrals and those services that I was providing to the families because of a lack of transportation. So we noticed that it doesn't really help if I'm providing a resource, but the family can't get to that resource. And so the contracted service piece of these funds, we really want to make sure that this helps them follow through. And so this case manager will kind of help navigate, transportation, whether it's through a taxi service or whatever it is that family needs to do to be able to actually get the resource that I am recommending for them to have. And then I would do it, sorry, to answer your question, I would do it as a referral process. So when they come to me and they let me know that they need, for example, a food voucher, but they don't have transportation to get it, then I would refer that family to this contracted service so that they can follow up with whatever needs.
Okay. But I mean, so we proactively reach out to these families and let them know that these services are available and how to access them, who to contact.
Yes. So generally when I do the intake process for every single one of my students, all 1,026, we do an intake process and we actually ask them during the intake process what their greatest need is at the current moment. And, we get that information from there, and then from that, now we have another resource that we can use to make sure that not only are we providing just information, but now we're providing an outsource that can actually get them there.
Thank you.
How many case managers do you have?
How many case managers currently? This will only cover one case manager. Though this will be a referral process, we at least want to, since the funds are limited, this case manager will probably only be hired in for about a year. So we at least want to try to help at least 100 students is the goal.
So the 1,026, is there ebbs and flows of the demand? I mean, are there people that go homeless, then people get shelter and or back, or?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you want to see them transition out, obviously.
Yeah, so these services will basically target the highest need. So our unaccompanied youth who don't have that adult support, who don't have those resources or family members that can get them to and from those resources, this case manager will be able to provide that and can fill in those gaps. So it will target the highest risk and the most need of our McKinney-Vento families.
Does the student make the request for McKinney-Vento to the parent, or how does that come about, generally speaking, in the beginning?
Generally, it really differs. We get internal intakes from case managers at the schools. Sometimes they do come directly to us. We have created a great relationship with community partners. I have community partner meetings once a month, and so developed a great relationship with Connect Allen County. So many times now there are community partners that work with families who are homeless, and now they're able to get information and see if their students if they have to have students in school, and if they're in Fort Wayne Community School, they make sure that they provide them my information so that they can also get services if they aren't already.
What do you see, or what do you hear rather from your students as the biggest needs they have?
The biggest needs usually is shelter, of course, and food has been a need this year, and as well as transportation to and from has been difficult all around.
I might suggest, Madam Chairwoman, that maybe we get a presentation on McKinney-Vento and usage. I mean, we talked once about what business are we in, and it's education, but here we have Christina and her team, doing all this great work to help our students just live, not just get educated. And
Right,
I think it'd be
exactly.
beneficial to have kind of a bigger picture discussion and understanding of what all you guys and your team does and what the demand is there in our marketplace.
Absolutely.
If everybody else thinks that's worthy. Thank you for your work.
You mentioned that you hope to help 100 students and you're going to target the ones that are the highest need, and you mentioned unaccompanied minors. Is that about how many we have?
Well, I currently have about 66 unaccompanied youth at the moment. So when this person, once we hire a person to take on the role as the case manager through the contractor service piece, we plan to at least help 100 students within that year time frame. We would like to help more, but since it's limited time and limited funds, we at least want to make sure that we at least help 100.
Are the students identified, if I'm a principal in a building or something, are the students tagged somehow that I know they're McKinney-Vento? And
Yes, so I have put in an icon on our Power School similar to our ELL and our special ed. So it just says McKinney-Vento funded. So anyone with access to Power School can see if the student is already receiving McKinney-Vento services. If they feel like there's a student that's in need and does not have that logo, then that would be a good opportunity for them to do an intake and refer them to me.
anything else? Okay, thank you. Oh, did you have some? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Julie, purchase of property at Scott Academy.
It's recommended that the board authorize the purchase of the following properties located near Scott Academy, 5309 and 5313 Southern Court. There were two appraisals, so we are paying the lower of the two, $13,000 for those two properties. The purchase of these properties on this block will allow the school to expand and will allow for additional parking and proper separation of bus and parent pickup lanes. The project is funded from the 2020 School Basic Renewal Restoration and Safety Project Funds. Director of Facilities Darren Hess is available to answer any questions, and there's included is a map of the property showing looks like we own almost the entire block, but except for a couple of properties, so getting closer to the entire block.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Steve. Okay, do we have any questions for Darren?
Darren, on the map, it shows 5301 Southern Court. Is there a building there, or is that just an empty lot too, or a house?
There's a home on that, existing home. And we're not targeting that any longer. The properties you guys are looking to approve tonight will give us enough storage for stormwater detention that's required, so.
And then is the corner by the church, is that not owned by us too, at Gatewood and Fairfax?
There's two properties there that are still privately owned.
Is there homes there too?
Yes, both lots have a home on them.
I've been out there, but it's been a while, so I couldn't remember. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Jennifer, emergency projects.
It is recommended that the board declare an emergency for the following projects and allocate funds from the emergency allocation within the capital projects plan. Adams Elementary sanitary replacement, repair, replace sanitary sewer line for $92,202.67. Nutrition Center compressors, replacement of two compressors, $22,917.34 for a total of $115,120.01. The 2022 capital project plan consists of all capital projects that cost $10,000 or more. New projects over $10,000 determined after the CPP was approved are required to follow advertisement and approval requirements of an amended CPP. However, Indiana Code 2040-18-6 allows the board to determine that an emergency exists and therefore amends the current CPP without the usual amendment procedures. The 2022 Operation Fund budget includes an appropriation for emergency capital projects. And again, Darren is here to answer any of our questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Raleigh. Thank you, Maria. And any questions for Darren? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Maria, change order 2022-2023, Build, Learn, Grow.
It is recommended that the board approve the following change order. The project is the Build, Learn, Grow Grant Pre-K Playgrounds Project, and the contractor is Recreation Insights. The contract amount is currently $1,357. $1,357. Yep, 1.3 million.
1.3 million.
My brain isn't working. Approximately $1.3 million. Sorry, I've been staring at a computer screen too long. We're going to add $60,800, which is a percent change of 4.48%. Additional ground access play component at each of the 18 pre-K playgrounds will provide for additional play opportunities that is beneficial for preschoolers, allowing for more choice in their outdoor play environment as recommended by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. This will enhance the skills they're learning of self-discovery, curiosity, and problem solving, as well as sharpening fine motor skills. And Darren is here again to answer any questions.
Thank you, Maria. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
I move approval.
Thank you, Raleigh.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. And any questions for Darren? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Raleigh, Smart Air Quality Needlepoint Bipolar Ionization Program.
It is recommended that the board approve the following contract for the Smart Air Quality Needlepoint Bipolar Ionization Solution at various buildings. Simon's Industry, Inc. is a contractor. Base bid for Priority 1 units is $679,577. The base bid for Priority 2 units is $656,020 for a total contract of $335,597. The air around us is filled with particles such as dust, dander, smoke, odors, and even viruses and bacteria. This patented NPBI technology helps reduce particles in the air by introducing ions into the space via the airflow in the ventilation system. When these ions disperse throughout a space, they seek out and form bonds with particles in the air through a process called agglomeration. This creates a snowball effect in which particles begin to cluster together. The larger a cluster of particles become, the easier it is for the HVAC system to filter it out of the air. In addition to this clustering effect, contact with ions also inactivates certain viruses and bacteria. The focus for Priority 1 is on areas that have daily use, like kitchens and cafeterias, classrooms that are mostly below grade, and locations with significant respiratory activity, like choir, band, dance, weight rooms, and auditorium. The focus for Priority 2 is on large gathering areas. All schools are included except for those with ionization systems included in scheduled construction projects. Simon's is the sole source provider for smart air quality programs. Indiana law does not require bidding for purchases made from sole source providers. The project will be funded from the ESSER grant. The work will be completed in phases and is anticipated to be substantially completed by December 31st, 2022. And Darren is here to answer questions.
Thank you, Raleigh. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Steve. And do we have any questions for Darren?
We got a science lesson.
Yeah, thank you, scientific explanation. I was thinking that.
Interesting. I think that'll be great, especially for people with allergies too and things like that.
So we have this in some schools already, Darren? Or in process of going into some of the schools?
Yes, we currently have them in all of the offices which hold our clinics. That was our trial, which we approved earlier at the end of last year. And then we actually tested out this technology at Abbott Elementary in a lower level classroom approximately 3 years ago before COVID. So we've been looking at it for a while. And we go back, we do testing, every time we go back and do CO2 testing, we also do VOC testing, and it's shown improvements.
So what are you looking for when you test?
Lower numbers. We test the outside to see what's naturally occurring in the environment that we're bringing into the space. And then after this process, to see in the classroom if it's lower or not. And we've seen anywhere from 15 to 40% decrease in those numbers of VOCs.
Wow. Great. Anything else for Darren?
Thanks for the detailed science lesson.
Right. Thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and Noah, General Building Systems 1.
It is recommended the board approve the following construction contracts for General Building Systems 1, GBS 1, Shingle Construction, Inc., base bid of $289,000, alternate 1 at Adams Elementary School casework installations for $23,470, alternate 2 Northcrest Elementary School casework installations $78,990 for a total contract price of $392,360. Project includes casework replacements at 6 buildings. Kelty Tappy Design Inc. designed the project. The project is funded from the Operations Fund and is identified in the capital project plan. The recommendations within the program budget. Project specifications require the work to be completed by October 31st, 2022. Darren's here to answer any questions again. There were 2 other competing bids, but this is the lowest and best.
Thank you, Noah. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
So moved.
Thank you, Maria.
Second.
Thank you, Raleigh. Any questions for Darren? Okay, all in favor?
Okay, I'll ask.
I'm sorry.
So what exactly is casework installation? Anybody know?
That's. Move it away?
Sorry.
It's your wardrobe units, the teacher storage cabinets, wardrobe cabinets, also a lot of the student cubbies that they, with the hooks, and they put their book bags and their boots.
And does it say in here how many buildings is, so there's Adams and Northcrest, but how many buildings in the other, in the base bid?
6 it says.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, the related percent.
Yep, 6
Oh,
buildings.
sorry.
Park, Adams, Northcrest. Indian Village.
Thanks for asking that, Julie. That was not what I thought it was.
Now we've been very educated in this meeting.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and contract amendment for construction manager as constructor CMC for the addition to Abbott Elementary. It is recommended that the board approve the second contract amendment with FCI Construction as part of the construction manager as constructor CMC contract for the addition to Abbott Elementary School previously approved on October 25th, 2021. This represents the second amendment of 2. Bid packages 9 and 19 for the amendment amount for $479,758.81, and the total amended contract then would be $3,493,991.88. The addition to Abbott Elementary School consists of a 6-classroom building addition to house preschool and kindergarten and to reallocate existing classrooms within the building to adequately house a 4-section elementary. The contract procurement method for this project is the construction manager as constructor for publicly funded projects as allowable per IC 532. This amendment represents bill package 9, structural steel erection, and bid package 19, mechanical, along with the previous amendment approved at the March 28, 2022 March board meeting. This amendment also establishes a final overall guaranteed maximum price for the project. This package will be funded from the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant. And again, questions will be answered by Darren. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
Move we approve.
Second.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Maria. Any questions?
So these were planned amendments, is that right? Are these amendments because of cost increases or both?
This was not a planned amendment.
Was it not a planned amendment?
Yeah, we on bid day, received no bids for these 2 bid packages, so we put it back on the street, and this time received multiple bids for each of those bid packages, or The mechanical we did, we received 3 bids for that one, and the steel erection, we received 1. It's a tough market out there trying to get contractors interested in bidding projects at this point.
Will this, so it does say this guarantees the price project for the maximum then for Abbott Elementary?
That's correct.
So where all systems go, everything's in place to get
Yes,
that
yes, we'll be
addition
starting work here in a few weeks.
Great, that's exciting.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that ends our business portion of the meeting. And we now will have Thornton Community Schools K-12 College and Career Readiness Mentorship Program, a presentation on that with Shanita Bolton, Director of our K-12 College and Career Readiness, and Jessica Hanna, K-12 College and Career Readiness Coordinator for Mentorships and Partnerships. They will provide an overview of the Thornton Community Schools K-12 College and Career Readiness Mentorship Program. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, President Duff, board members. Thank you for this opportunity to present before you once again tonight, speaking on our mentorship and partnership program. We'd like to begin first with a video.
So my name is Jessica Hanna. I have been with FWCS since November. I am the coordinator for mentorships and partnerships.
My name is Nicole Pinar, and I work for Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've been with the agency for about 2 years now.
With partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have been able to start a partnership with Snyder High School football players and Glenwood third graders.
We've had such a wonderful partnership over the years with Fort Wayne Community Schools, and we're kind of thinking, what can we do to impact more kids to bring a mentor in a life? We've seen the impact that it makes, and what's another component that we can do? And the idea of having high school students mentor elementary students was one of the things that, we started discussing and thought what a wonderful thing we could do if we could not only have the high school kid will get benefit of mentoring a younger elementary, but then the elementary kid gets to sit and talk with the high school kid.
What's really great is we've been able to match 5 of the football players with 5 of the Glenwood elementary students. And to see that kind of mentorship is really important.
It can help that barrier of maybe not knowing how to talk to someone. They play games, they read together.
I feel that growing up now and being in elementary school, even for myself, it's a difficult time. We're trying to figure out, where do we go? Who do we belong to? Who are we? And with that going on, having a mentor that you can look up to and you idolize, essentially. High school's hard, middle school's hard, life is hard, but you're not alone, and there's someone here for you.
And the idea of having high school students mentor elementary students was one of the things that, we started discussing. And I know when I was in elementary, a high school kid was the coolest thing ever. So to have, a high school kid come and talk to them once a week, they'll make it through the day, and whatever comes at them, they have that extra support outside of the home. We have our lunch buddies, which is where mentors go into the school once a week and they meet with kids during the lunchtime. They can read, play games, or just talk. And we also work on the community-based side, which is outside of school, that the mentors can meet with them. And then this last summer, we started summer school buddies. So the mentor, while the kids were in summer school, would go and meet with them during lunchtime and kind of give them that push to get through summer school. And now we're doing high school buddies. The partnership that we have and the impact that we're making on the local community. I could give you so many stories on how mentorship works, and I'm just so excited to see where we go, and the limits are endless.
College and career readiness, we are really focusing on what will students do the day after high school. And with that, we have to start in elementary and show the importance of education, because it is super important to know as we get older to really focus on how do we become successful as adults, as young adults. And Fort Wayne Community Schools, and specifically the College and Career Readiness Program, we're really excited to be able to show a different side of that with mentorship.
So the pandemic has really hurt the kids more than I think we know. We all know kids are really resilient, but what you don't see is they were virtual and now they're in person. They are having more anxiety around that. And just by having a support system of, hey, I get someone in person that I feel comfortable with, my mentor, that really helps bridge that gap where they talk and they learn how to interact in person and not just through a screen. And these mentorships and these little things that we're implementing and help them learn to have that conversation or to play games or just to have fun.
Be there for someone, ask someone, how is your day? And be willing to listen. And I think that's what our students need. They want someone to listen. And so I think that's something we have to practice. So if you can do anything, listening and asking someone how they are can change everything. And also educationally, being able to support someone and say, you can do this, you can graduate, you can, you know, you may not have anyone in your life, and maybe people in your own personal life did not go on to college or did not finish school, but that doesn't mean you can't. And so being a mentor is just that support to say, I'm here, I hear you, I'm listening, I'm supporting you, we can do this together. And I think that is really the biggest goal for the partnership as well, is to be that support, to find people who are willing to just listen sometimes.
So we are kind of piloting this high school BIGS program, and our goal, we're starting with 5 right now, and the goal is to bring on more of the football team in the future. We've talked about the cheerleaders, the soccer team, whatever it is, and that's just with Snyder and Glenwood. And then we hope to bridge it across all of the high schools and in the elementary schools and really continue to grow this and other programs throughout the years.
Thank you.
Do you have a PowerPoint?
While we're waiting for them to bring the PowerPoint up, I'll go ahead and begin just a little bit. There we are.
Could I ask you one question while we're getting this set up?
Absolutely,
How do you
Mr. Corona.
It seemed like a lot of fun, a lot of receptivity there with the kids. How do you measure increase or greater awareness in careers and pathways following high school?
We'll talk about that from mentorship.
Yes. Good evening. Thank you guys for having us tonight here to talk about mentorship, and that is one thing that we have discussed. How do we show impact? How do you take the fun that they're having and figure out how is that helpful? And so what we found is there are times where they can do reading, there are times where they can have fun. So we're trying to put the two together. And so with the mentorship, the kiddos, it's amazing. These 3rd graders are so excited to come to school. They wear their shirt. So I think it's that encouragement to come to school, and then they want to do a good job because then they want to tell their bigs all the things that they've done. So I think that being able to measure that, how many times do they meet? Is there an increase in grades? Is there increase in attendance, behavior? So I think there's some elements that we can take and we can put that together to find the impact through those.
So is it important that this program develops a relationship between that youngster and the big?
Absolutely. And that's something when we get the kids and the students and the mentors in the high school students, we meet with them initially and get to know them. Because it's important too, if something were to come up, I want to be able to step in to be that support as well.
Okay. Looks like we're ready to go here.
I think our technology is ready. Thank you, Mr. Byrd. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So tonight we're going to be talking to you briefly. We want just to give an introduction. You've already heard from her a little bit of our new coordinator for mentorships and partnerships. I would like to share a little bit of national research. We'll give you an overview of the program, talk about our current partnerships and mentorships, because the video you just saw was specifically to one component of our mentorship program, and then discuss our future plans. So we'd like to begin with a quote, and this is something that I say daily and talk to our staff about. Be the person you needed when you were young, being that person that you needed when you were young. You can go to the next slide, please. So in the fall of 2021, Dr. Daniel and our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Williams-Robbins, shared with me that they would like to increase the number of mentorships that we had for students across our district. So we, of course, developed a job description, and we hired Jessica Hanna, who began with us in November 2021. Her specific role is to, one, provide oversight for the program, establishing strong collaboration with various partners, as well as organizations, churches, and developing those strong mentors throughout the community that can be connected to our students or mentees. Also, developing a process in which those individuals would be matched. Also, working to establish regular trainings. We don't just want to pair our mentors with mentees, but we want to ensure they've received the proper training so that they can also address not only just what that student is thinking about on a curricular level, a co-curricular level, but also delving into deep conversations, whether they're discussing their family life, social, emotional, and other key components for students. Lastly, working to assist and sustain the structures that are being put in place for this program. We'll move on to a little bit of national research. So we did a little digging, and there is a lot of research, particularly with mentoring, and it is encompassed under mentoring.org. So I want to just share why mentoring. Mentoring at its core guarantees young people that there is someone who cares about them, assures them they are not alone in dealing with day-to-day challenges, and makes them feel like they matter. Research confirms that quality mentoring relationships have powerful, positive effects on young people in a variety of personal, academic, professional situations. Ultimately, mentoring connects a young person to personal growth and development and social and economic opportunity. Yet, statistics show us that yet 1 in 3 young people will grow up without this critical asset. And you can go to the next slide, please. I want to share these 4 key percentages and data points. Young adults with a mentor, we know 55% are less likely than their peers to skip a day of school. Students who have mentors are 78% more likely to volunteer regularly. They 90% will be interested themselves in becoming a mentor in the future. And 130% are more likely to hold leadership positions, not only in school, but also within the future because of the mentorship. Now I'm going to turn this over to Jessica Hanna, our K-12 College and Career Readiness Coordinator for Mentorships and Partnerships.
The FWCS mentoring program is connecting the students to a community member, adult community member in Fort Wayne. The program is going to ensure that students have that support person that they need in their life and give them that opportunity to have meaningful contributions to the community. I really think it's so important that we give back to the community, and I love that we can kind of do that through mentorship as well. So each mentor will help develop a mentee's potential through education, life skills, and personal development. So we want to reach the entire student. The program will focus on students with the greatest need in developing leadership skills because we know that that is very important. You can go to the next slide. So the goals for the mentorship are to improve. So we want to improve and guide. We want to help improve grades like I spoke on earlier, attendance, behavior, relationships. We really want to reach children in different ways and students, giving them the confidence to have conversations, maybe the hard conversations we are scared to have or nervous to talk about. Next slide. Oh, sorry. Hey, thank you. I saw you clicking. So also, 2 other goals for us are to assist. So we want to assist with resources. We do know that that is a hard thing to do with our students. I know with my background in social work, finding resources for students and kiddos and parents and all of them, that is a difficult thing to get the outreach to the right people. So being able to reach the students and showing them the opportunities, not just educationally, but personally as well, and fun things to do in our community that are offered. And really what the biggest goal that we want to encompass in all of this is to reach the entire family, not just the students. We're hoping this has an impact on the entire family unit. So what makes a mentoring relationship work? Well, connection. We do know that even in any relationships, connection is big. It's very important. Listening. As you saw in the video, that is when I have someone come to me and say, well, I don't know how to be a mentor, what do I need to do? The first thing is listening. I have found that if you listen, the student will talk and talk and talk. And that's great because we may be hearing things no one else is hearing. So we want to work on helping students navigate through life's pressures. And a mentoring relationship is just like any other relationship, building trust, showing up, and exchanging that knowledge and collaborating. And I think that's important that we can show both the educational and the social emotional part of that. So how the Fort Wayne Community Schools mentorship works is we match the students with a community mentor. And we really look at values. So we have a list that they can fill out, some personality traits. So we take both of those and then we match the mentor with the mentee. So the community member then with the student. And we try our best to match how we can on the shared interests, activities, what do they like to do? So I think that's really important to build on that connection. And the time spent is 2 times a month for 45 minutes. And the mentor will have a commitment of the school year, so September to May. And what we do during the summer to continue the connection, I think is important, and that's something I want to continue to work on. And maybe that is an activity, maybe that is going out and volunteering somewhere. Because I think it's fun to go do activities, but I think it's really great if we can show how we can volunteer and give back to the community as well. So those are some of the activities we're going to do. And also have that support piece for the mentors. I think that's important as well, is that they can have a coordinator, a program coordinator to support them and get together and say what's working for you, what's not working for you, so that we can all support each other. So the program development. So when I started in November of 2021, I was asked to reach out to all the FWCS schools. I really wanted to see what current mentorships do they have, what's working, and what could we add to that. So I created a handbook and forms and put together a program that is within our district. And I think that's what's so important, is it's our mentorship program. So with that, in just 4 short months, I have been able to get 6 schools on board. We are currently in Lakeside Middle School, and we have 5 mentors from the community and 5 students. And that is happening on a weekly basis at this right now. We have about 4 other schools who have committed to starting in the fall. And that was maybe part of a difficulty, was starting it at the end of the school year. But I tell you what, these schools, they're amazing. They really are wanting us to come in as soon as we can. And so that's been really great to see the interest within our school district. So some of the partnerships are needing to reach out to figure out who are we going to recruit for the mentors. So I reached out, I was asked to reach out to local colleges and really get a feel for what was out in the community. So I was able to go to PFW and speak to 4 to 5 different student teaching classes. And so with that, I was able to get an idea of what the students were looking for as far as mentorship and to see the interest. So it was that time piece, and so that's why it's 2 times a month for 45 minutes. And within that, I have 5 mentors at Lakeside, and 4 of them are PFW student teachers, which is great because it'll keep those student teachers in our schools, and that's really important as well. So far we have been able to reach 14 individuals, so 7 students and 7 community members. So other partnerships that we've had outside today, I just got a phone call. We're partnering with Headwaters Church. So at first it was just John, and he said we can come out and we can talk about how we can do the mentorship within our church. And he called me today and said, I hope you're sitting down because I have 30 people who are interested in the mentorship program. So now I get to go speak to the church and the church members. I've been able to partner with St. Joe United Methodist Youth Director as well. St. Francis, their athletic department, juvenile probation, and the social work department at St. Francis as well. So I'm continuing to add to that, the partnerships that we can create and be creative about that. Because we do want to have individuals from the community, not just from these agencies, but from just down the street, a store. Lived experience is really important, I think, for a lot of our students to see someone like them. So current mentorships that are going on now is the Big Brothers Big Sisters partnership that you saw at the very beginning. So we are working with Snyder football players and third graders at Glenwood. And so I was just talking to them today, and we're scheduling how are we going to grow the program, because now we can go to girls cheerleaders, or we can do the soccer team and figure out how that can be an athletic mentorship. And the football players are going to wear their jerseys, and we're going to hopefully be able to take the third graders to a game this fall. We're really looking forward to that. We're going to do a car wash, really, to do things as well. So that's what's happening with Big Brothers Big Sisters. And then Fort Wayne United, we have partnered with Fort Wayne United to do Friday Tie Day. And so that has been super successful. We have about 18 students participating at Southside High School. So we have mentors from the community coming in every Friday, and the students wear a tie and their nice shirt, and so they're able to talk about what makes a good leader. And so we have a lot of mentors coming in to be that support. Memorial Middle School is the other school, 22 students, and so it's really great to see how our community wants to give back to individuals, and it's all male students. And so that's going to continue as well, and that partnership hopefully will lead into more schools. And then we have the First Robotics. So we have working with First Robotics team, so working with Northside High School and Steel Dynamics to do a robot, to build a robot. I had the pleasure of attending one of the First Robotics competitions, and it was the most fun, coolest thing I've ever been to. So being able to work with our community to find mentors who want to come in and help with that, it's such a great opportunity, and it's going to bring students who may not be in sports, or this is such a great opportunity to build teamwork as well. So reaching out to mentors. Also with Georgetown Law School, so we've had a couple Zoom meetings. Georgetown Law School connects high school seniors, so we have our high schools all involved who are interested in becoming an attorney. So, and it's law students, and we have alumni here that have got on the call. And so there are students from Georgetown who speak about the good and how great Georgetown law is. What does it mean to be a lawyer? Then they go over the cost. So what's great about this is that they really want to make sure cost is not the reason that they can't become a lawyer. And so hopefully that relationship will continue, and we can take a field trip to Georgetown Law School and go there. Future plans for the mentorship program is to continue growth. It's really about finding and recruiting people in our community who want to give back, who want to be there, and not to just stop at the 6 schools. I know every student should have a mentor, and that is a big feat, but it's going to happen. Just to see the growth of it so far, and just in 6 months, I am really excited about the future and being able to build this internal network. We have a few Fort Wayne Community Schools employees who are now on board being mentors, so I think that's really important to build our internal network of support. So there's lots of future plans, but just continuing to grow. Thank you. Do you have
any questions?
So Shanita, in a year's time, how many mentors would you hope that Jessica's developed?
I would love to see us gather 100 students per year. That is the big goal, because while she is one representing mentorship, I feel that all the work we do out of our office, we should be recruiting along the way for her. So it's definitely a collaboration.
So what's in it for the the students that are serving as mentors, do they get credit for performing community service? Is it a part of a class?
This could be part of the pathways, could it not?
What's that?
Could be part of the pathways, isn't it?
Could be if we have to set it up right. It could be if we set it up right for volunteer, because volunteer work for Indiana Graduation Pathways is not a one-time thing. It should be something that they're vested into, but definitely something that we can build into it. But I think the other piece of it, as we think about a student's trajectory, for many of our students, as Jessica had spoken of, is really someone that's talking to them. So it's not all just the fun time, but the reading, but then also that exploration of what is that mentor doing professionally? How can they link to their interest? And also, as she talked about large group work, because I may have a student that is very interested one day in becoming an engineer, but I'm not an engineer, but it provides an opportunity of gathering groups together for different events where they can share that and connect them with other professionals.
I had a question for Jessica. So we use Big Brothers Big Sisters for our elementary mentorship program, and then now we're developing our own at middle school level. Is that?
We're developing our own for K through 12.
Okay.
So all students.
So are we in partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters then?
So we're in partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters specifically for the Glenwood Snyder mentorship. So that partnership will continue, and that's where we want to grow that within Glenwood and Snyder. It's an easy one because they're across the street from each other. And the high schoolers come over in the morning, they get dropped off, and it's great. So we want to expand that program and get more sport teams. But eventually it would be great to have an athletic mentorship throughout all of our schools. I think that would be wonderful. So yes, that partnership will continue and hopefully grow from there.
You showed statistics on the mentors or the percentages of kids who have mentors. How about the mentor themselves in high school? Do we have any information on that shows a child or a student who is a mentor and then what takes them next by becoming one of them?
I'm sure there is data. I did not collect that data for this evening, but it's something we can do.
I just wondered, I just thought that is the leadership that comes out of that and of the volunteerism. I'm sure they are. You don't have to do it. I just wondered if we happen to have any on that, because it seems like a big plus that we could sell to those athletic teams.
Absolutely, and I think to go back to Noah's question is that through the athletic piece for that volunteer, because those high school seniors that can be counted for Indiana Graduation Pathways for those students.
The partnerships you're looking for, is that for groups to create mentors or supply mentors, or I'm guessing I'm a little not clear on that.
Sure. So most of the partnerships that I have now have built-in mentors per se, colleges, churches, but really we're looking for mentorships or mentors throughout the community. An individual person can call and if they're interested. And so that is going to be that word of mouth piece, I'm sure, as far as an individual. So it's not limited to anyone. Anyone can be a mentor. Of course, we do background checks, and we want to make sure that that's all cleared. But the one thing I do want to mention about the Glenwood and Snyder is it's sophomores in third grade, so they can stay together. And that is going to be kind of that piece as well. The mentorship as far as moving together. And that is too, with the Fort Wayne Community Schools mentorship program, there's no end date. They could be a mentor forever. And so that's another, because I've been asked before, is it just for the one school year? It can be for life. So that's the hopes, is that they stay forever.
I know at least at Kroninger, my youngest daughter had a kindergarten buddy, and I think COVID's put a wrench in all this, but the kindergartners would eat on one side of the table and fifth graders would eat across this table from them, and they were kind of assigned a buddy. And all we heard about was Jennifer's daughter's friend Hannah Stein all year long, which is a great girl and was a great mentor to my daughter. And so those peer-to-peer mentors are certainly valuable, and I think something I encourage you to continue to explore if possible.
Absolutely, and I completely agree, and I think that was one of the reasons I reached out to PFW for middle school, because it's the same generation, and that kind of that relatability piece that you're speaking of, yes, peer-to-peer is very important, and that's an aspect and an element we want to eventually add on to the program as well.
I always thought it would be a great idea, because we did have that buddy program, Kroninger, is when the person stepped up to middle school that they still continued to touch base with their elementary, and then they received somebody from high school, so that there was that gradual step and always having somebody ahead of you that was looking out for you. But I know it's a big ask.
And it's very important, that transition piece. Myself having a 6th grader and a sophomore, I know how important that is when you go from 5th grade to 6th grade. That's a big jump, and having that kind of support is important.
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So will you have the mentorship program like we did last year in summer school again this year?
Great question. We actually discussed that in the summer school team, after doing a lot of discussion and looking at numbers, decided this year we would not, but would integrate more mentorship throughout the year.
So if we have anybody watching tonight that's really excited about this, do they just email you, or do you have a link somewhere, or?
I have brochures and flyers. I feel like my name and my email are everywhere. But yes, so if you go to our website, we have a website page there that you can reach out. You can call and email. Anyone within our department knows about the mentorship program, so anyone can answer questions and they come directly to me, and then I can take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your program development. Okay, we're ready for board comments.
I will pass, thank you.
I just want to say that I am so darn proud to be part of this community, as all of the people, not only in this room, but all the people that showed up or wrote emails, showed up at the meeting Monday night, the public hearing for the charter school that was intending to locate somewhere in Fort Wayne. It was just amazing to see, there were teachers there were retired teachers there were parents there were just community members, there were administrators, there were principals, there was the president of the Fort Wayne Teachers Union and the superintendent of our district. I can't imagine too many communities that would almost spontaneously be able to put the kind of effort together that this community did on Monday night. And for good reason. I mean, this would have been a bad deal for Fort Wayne. It would have been bad for our community, bad for students, bad for families. And so, in my opinion, this was just a big community win for Fort Wayne. So I want to thank everybody that, again, showed up, spoke out, maybe, the people that spoke, and everybody here on the board that did such a fantastic job. It was obvious that we had done our research, and so had a lot of other people in the community. So, although I was surprised, after Monday night, I don't think anybody could have been too surprised that Excel Schools decided to pull out. Like I said, it's just a big win for Fort Wayne and really makes me proud of this community. Thank you.
Awesome.
I just want to say thanks on the coattails of Julie. Obviously, she did a lot of, covered a lot of people, and I just want everybody to keep doing their due diligence and pay attention and be informed, because we never know when something else comes up. And everybody rose to the occasion, and that's externally in our community and internally. So everybody who actually helped do the research, I want to thank you. But tonight, I think we heard one word that was mentioned in almost every the presentations before, after, and everything, and that's community. We are really trying to reach out and involve our community in our schools. And I want to thank those people who showed up at the Ideal Graduate. People took time out of their day in our community to spend the day with us. People spent the day with us last Monday night in our community. We have mentors and out there doing their time, and those are our community members. So there's one thing about Fort Wayne that I've learned of living here all my life is community matters. And I've always been under the precedence that strong schools equal strong communities. So it works backwards as well. So all that community support helps support our schools, and all of our schools can help support our community. So I thank everyone, and I hope you will continue to reach out and be a part of our school. We want you, and we want to partner with you. And then the last note, I know that there's a push out there right now for parents and families to sign up or try to qualify to be a 21st Century Scholar. I encourage every person in 8th grade, because you have until 8th grade, you can start doing it a little bit earlier, but I encourage each family to sign up. Don't look at the requirements, just do it, because it's one step of information and process that you have to do, and you'll have to continue to do that as your child decides they're going to, if they decide to go to college. It's a beginning step. It's an easy one. It takes about 10 minutes. You can put in your information. You'll start to see what kind of things that the state is going to be asking for FAFSA. The government's going to be asking you for FAFSA and everything else. It's just, it's a one step into that process that you'll start to do when you get to high school. But it's so important. There is a lot of scholarship money out there. And we all know how expensive that is nowadays. I was just looking it up for my daughter. She asked me what Indiana University was. And I think the yearly tuition itself was $23,000, $22,000. Add that to the room and board, and that's $39,000 a year. So $40,000 times 4. And the 21st Century Scholar can actually help you pay a lot of that. Add that to a few more scholarships here and there, little ones, $500 here, there, and you can come out debt-free out of college. So I encourage all of our families to sign up. Even if you don't think you qualify, just do it. Just do it. You never know. We came out of a pandemic and people were not employed for a long time, and they look at the year in reverse. So you might be sending your child off to college debt-free. So please take the time and do it.
So if you qualified one year, the year you apply, and then you make a lot more money when your kid's in high school, that's still based on that year, so you still qualify even though you may not qualify by the time you're a senior.
Right. And remember what we were sitting in last year.
Right.
So you may
makes sense
qualify.
to apply.
It's worth the time and effort.
And also, at least when I was a guidance counselor, there are some colleges that when they get a 21st Century Scholar, that pays for your tuition, but they will find ways to pay for the room and board. So you basically, have a free ride, including room and board in some situations. So.
And once you do qualify, it's really pretty and easy step by step. I can tell you that my oldest daughter was a 21st Century Scholar. My husband and I were starting out our businesses, and there were 2 of us starting our own businesses, and at that year, she qualified. And I cannot thank the 21st Century Scholars enough. She's currently in doctorate school, and the money that we had slowly saved for her to go to college is now going towards her doctorate education, which will be a huge relief for her not to come out of college with a whole lot of debt after going to school for 8 years. So please don't think that you may not be eligible just by looking at that number. Just go through it, fill it out, and take the time. And it does pay off.
If I could just piggyback to your comments, it's easy if you understand English and it's spoken in the household, but if it's not, it can be a daunting task. So that's where there's an opportunity for us to improve the registration rate.
Absolutely. And we do have people at FACE that will help us, I believe.
Yeah. The state's made it more difficult. I was talking to some folks about the fact that they've changed the sign-up process, and it's just, they allowed schools to have greater control of the sign-up process, and it's not like that anymore. So we're talking with some people in Indianapolis about how to make it easier for families who do not speak English in the household.
Yes. Well, good. Thank you for doing that.
It couldn't be on purpose, but see.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jennifer. Maria?
Well, I had on my list to talk about the charter school victory, so I was really proud of that. And I echo everything that Julie and Jennifer said. It was really heartwarming to see our community come together for our students and families, and I'm just so thrilled, like cloud nine kind of thrilled that I'm like, oh my gosh, we did something and it worked, because that's not always the case. And you just like, it was that Ann always talks about, just that one small push that'll like keep you going for the next time. So it was really nice to see everyone out and everyone fired up. And then the ideal graduate, I'm so excited to see how we put all of that information together and come up with our plan for the ideal graduate, and then what that looks like from pre-K to grade 12. And the other thing that I wanted to highlight, and there's lots of things going on, but May 2nd through 6th is Staff Appreciation Week, and the reason that I have so few brain cells today is because I've been planning Weiser Park and Whitney Young Staff Appreciation Week for the last 4 days. So yes, it's going to be great, and I hope that all the PTAs and staffs and everybody just plan something fabulous and love on our staffs. So I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Raleigh?
So earlier this month, I was able to attend the Martin Luther King Club's MLK Day celebration, which was it was beautiful. I've met 2 Fort Wayne Community School students who are being awarded with a scholarship from the club, Emily Richardson and Amajane Witt. These young ladies were very impressive, and they're part of Wayne High School's early college program, which is an excellent program that allows our high school students to earn dual credits. So these 2 young ladies will they'll graduate with their Core 40 Honors Diploma, a technical diploma in business administration, and an associate in general studies from Ivy Tech. So well done, ladies. I also want to just shine some light on one of our many amazing members of the Fort Wayne Community School families, Ms. Kim Jones at Harrison Hill Elementary. She is a counselor there and has been with our district for about 18 years now. I have the pleasure of connecting with her every week. I am a volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and so I go there every week to do the Lunch Buddy program, which is amazing. And it's just beautiful to see how she's able to connect with our kids, how they interact with her, how she's able to connect with the families and really work with the families. And it's great to see how impactful she is by working with the kids and the families, and how that impacts our community. So hats off to you, Ms. Kim. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll reiterate what everybody said about the wonderful support the community showed regarding the charter application, and the ideal graduate was a lot of fun. I reluctantly approved the consent agenda on one particular issue, and I'll take exception to Ms. April Gerken, who's leaving, and then also comment on someone who's not on that agenda, which was Ms. Karen Schock. Both are at Snyder. One's a choir teacher and one's a cheerleading coach. I don't think we can get the cheerleading coach retirements through there, but anyway. These 2 wonderful teachers were, like Jessica and Shani were talking about, mentors from the community to our students. You know, our teachers are mentors every day to our students, and they try real hard. These 2 women in particular were a really special place in my family's heart, as they worked with 2 of the 3 of my daughters. One got them both, and then I have twins, and one was with one in choir, and there was with Ms. Schock and cheerleading. So It's a sad day for Snyder that they're leaving and moving on, but they have good reasons to move forward. And so I just want to publicly thank them for their efforts and support, particularly to my family, but also to the Snyder family, and to say to teachers out there everywhere, thank you for what you do. It's your input to the kids. You're the first mentors that they see. You're the first mentors that impact their lives, even more than parents sometimes. And so that doesn't go unnoticed with this group of board members. I know that. Throughout the state, I can't say, as there's been a lot of challenges thrown at teachers. But this group of more board members, I'm confident I speak for all of them that say, thank you, teachers, for all you do. That's it.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind,
Yeah.
might I have a couple of minutes?
Sure.
The Wolves will be back. They will be back for sure. I mean, it's real clear that members of the General Assembly like giving away our money for vouchers and charters. And I don't think this group thought that our teachers, our superintendent, and this board would come hard at them. They filed sloppy paperwork, and we caught them at it, but they'll be back because they can smell the aroma of easy money, and we've got to stop that. I was on a call this afternoon as a member of the Indiana School Boards Association's Board of Directors. We're putting together an update of our strategic plan, and I just suggested that we need to develop minimal standards for charter schools. What is the expectation? I had a visit a couple of weeks ago, and I said this to you last Monday. I had a visit at Haley School. And what it helped me understand was all the support we provide our classroom teachers in that building. And we don't tell that story of all of those people that are there to make that building work. The people that are dealing with the kids that don't speak English real well, the teachers that deal with those kids that have emotional and other issues, and if in a normal classroom would cause a disruption. We talked about that at our planning session last Friday. There are lots of support staff, and none of those support staff were evident in that charter school application. And my guess is that members of the General Assembly would be shocked about what charter schools deliver and what we offer now. And we don't tell our story well. So back to my original point, we need to mobilize people in the right position to talk about what those minimal standards are if you want to run a charter school in this state. This is what this community's expectation of you will be. We really don't want you, but we know you're not going to go away. I mean, we know that. So let's work on that other offense. And I think it was clear in Dr. Daniel's statements is that come back when you have a better plan. And that's what I'm saying now. And that's what I'm saying to the Indiana School Boards Association. Come back when you have a better plan. Come back when you can meet or exceed what we now deliver. But if not, the Wolves will be back.
Thank you, Steve. Dr. Daniel?
We're very fortunate to have board members that we have. We're very fortunate to have staff that we have and community support. And it is a rarity for what we just experienced to actually happen, where you have someone remove an application and a charter school doesn't move forward. So I think, again, everything everyone said is so important for us to remember. People who are coming to Fort Wayne, we are a community that's going to respond, and it needs to be a very high level program if it's going to hopefully be accepted. I think we've raised that bar, and we continue to raise that bar every day in every one of our classrooms, and we'll continue to do so, and we'll continue to be very innovative within our programming. And again, I think as we move forward the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see programs continue to expand, and we're going to see our student achievement continue to grow. And I would just like to say, if you have a program that can do better than that, then let us know. Meanwhile, I think we have programs like AMP Lab and so on and other programs similar to that we are absolutely on the cutting edge of what our community is asking for. Whether it be entrepreneurships, whether it be trades, and we were at Rotary today and we heard a couple of our leaders and our labor organizations, both from, well, again, what they were saying was Fort Wayne Community Schools wants to be a partner, we're eager to be a partner, and we're eager to help solve the employee issues that we're all seeing across not just Fort Wayne, but across our entire country. And if we can continue to do that, I would be hard pressed to find other organizations that can do it as well. So again, thank you, board. Thank you, all, everyone out in the audience. And remember, we, as Steve Corona just said, we may have won a battle, but the war is still to fight. So be ready. Thank you.
Right. And I think we're ready. We, you know, if they come back, we still have a few tools in our toolbox that we did not use, so we're prepared. But I also wanted to thank, Julie mentioned most of the community people, but there's a couple, even our public education advocacy group showed up, Dr. Michael Schaefer with Indiana Coalition for Public Education Northeast, and a couple of the members from Northeast Indiana Friends of Public Education. Eileen Doherty is a member of that, and she's also one of our teachers, and Kathy Candioto, and they both spoke last Monday. But I also wanted to thank our board members. You know, Steve, you've always said this is the best board I know of in his how many millions of years? 42 years. And, you know, I have to agree. I mean, I'm so proud of all of you. I'm still laughing. One morning, I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday. No, I think it was Monday morning. I wake up and I see one email from Jennifer at 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I see another one at 2:30 in the morning. Then I see another one at 4 a.m. Like, Jennifer, go to bed. But, you know, with 250 pages of application to look through, and then you have to Google all these different players and see what's going on, you know, you just get obsessed with it, and it was difficult. You know, Julie already had a good background with charter schools, and I think her speech was excellent, you know, pointing out all the flaws and the harm for our public schools. Both Raleigh and Maria just had, you know, the passion with their testimony was wonderful. And then with Dr. Daniel and his cabinet, you know, they also did extensive research, and a lot of this was over our holiday weekend, and we were texting and emailing, and, you know, like, when am I going to get to cook Easter dinner? Stop texting me. So, you know, we worked really hard, kept in good contact with each other. So, you know, Dr. Daniel and his staff, the board, you know, it was definitely a team effort. All the hours and hours, I keep thinking, these hours, I mean, I'm talking like 40 hours, some of you probably, 40 hours of research for 3 minutes of testimony. How are you going to cram it all into 3 minutes? But, you know, we've learned a lot, so if this happens again, we're prepared. We know what research to do now. We know what to look at in an application. We know what to Google. So, you know, we're prepared. If, you know, come at us, and we will research in depth your application and pick it apart.
And you know what? I'm not sure we ever would have seen the full application if it wasn't for Noah.
Exactly. Yeah, Noah had to.
Because the original one that was put online
didn't have the attachments.
It was missing all the attachments, the amendments, and
right. Yeah, we found several flaws in just the charter board. You know, where are your emails? You had people listed who aren't on the board anymore, so we got those emails, thankfully, and could email the right people. So, yeah, we're going to rip you apart. Watch it out.
Did anyone get notified that their comment was going to be read at the meeting?
I'm sorry?
Did anyone get notified by the charter board that their comment was going to be read at the meeting? I know someone who,
What do you mean?
she got an email from whoever the admin is for the Indiana Charter School Board and said that this person's comment was going to be read at the 28th, the meeting on April 28th,
no,
the
I did
approval
not.
meeting.
I was invited to the meeting, but
Yeah.
that's before
Huh,
the
I was just
application
curious.
was drawn, but-
I had replies from the emails that I sent, which was very nice for people to acknowledge that I sent
Sent it,
something
make
and
sure
it
they
came
got it.
before they made their decision. That was great.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, yeah, I mean, I think I was telling Jennifer no, that, we're ready to present it, ISBA next. How to scare away a charter school coming to your
Bad
town.
idea.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Ann.
And then this weekend, I'm going to a conference, Network for Public Education. And again, that would be a great presentation for this conference. It's every year and a half. So maybe in a year and a half, we can present and talk about our research so people can do the same type of research if a charter school comes their way. This is how much digging you have to do. But I'm looking forward to this conference. It's a bunch of public education advocates getting together. It's for the Network of Public Education was formed by Diane Ravitch about 10 years ago. Their mission is to preserve, promote, improve, and strengthen public schools for both current and future generations of students. And it's just a great conference to connect with others who are advocating for our public schools. So hopefully I will come with more tools for my toolbox after I return. And so that'll be, it's fun to meet up with people who've gone through the same types of things we have done through, or they're dealing with different stages of the education issues. So I look forward to that. So is there I guess we're ready to close our meeting. Is there a motion on the floor
So moved.
to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you, Raleigh. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.